This is one of the what ifs. You ever had a comic book? You ever read a comic book that was a what if? What if this? What if Spider-Man did that? What if Batman did this? But this is a what if Kobe Bryant staged his own helicopter crash and faked it. Only proof I have is that helicopter that they show in the photo at the scene of the crime was not his helicopter. He had an all black painted helicopter. He did not have a white and blue, janky ass looking, looked like they pulled out of a junkyard and set some twigs on fire helicopter. That was the first thing I saw. Second thing is I worked with so many pilots from Hawaiian to Alaskan to United to JetBlue to Frontier to British Airways that I know so many pilots that I know they're not going to risk their own lives. This got me thinking about the other day because there was a pilot at the bar and he said, he goes, I always tell the guests, I always tell the passengers, don't worry, I'm a narcissist and I don't want to die. So this plane ain't going down. And he goes, I really mean that. I'm more worried about me because I love my life. I love my kids. I love my bank account. And he said this, he goes, I love myself and I ain't going to die today is what I think. So when this pilot takes control of that cockpit, he don't care who's in the back. And all pilots kind of have this mentality. They're not going down, okay? So if there's some type of thing that they can avoid, like weather, they're not going to fly into weather. Do you know what happens when fog rolls into San Diego? They get diverted all the way to LAX and San Francisco, and they need to make sure they have enough gas to do that. They check every box before they take that flight up in the air. Do you understand? This ain't willy-nilly. And when there was a no-flight zone that day, and that pilot that was another red flag, and that pilot took him up supposedly in that blue and white little rinky-dinky thing that I saw on that picture that the news gave us, it just didn't sit well with me. Now, let's talk about why would Kobe Bryant do it? What would he benefit? First of all, remember, this guy has been coddled and put in a bubble his entire life. He was retired, and his little daughter, okay, was getting helicoptered into a practice, okay? That's how he got around. He couldn't have just got in the car and just drove. No, that's Kobe Bryant is always helicoptered into practice. He doesn't, you're mad about the gas you put in your car and your little Toyota, your little Nissan. This dude is filling up a freaking helicopter, paying a professional pilot probably six figures just to be on standby to fly his little daughter to a practice. How far could the practice field have been? Do you understand? Talking about practice, let's talk about the monetizing, the money that he stands to make. What do you mean, Mike? Nobody's buying Allen Iverson's shoe. We talk about practice. Nobody's buying Allen Iverson's shoes in 2023. And the same is going to happen to Kobe. The only ex-player that's selling shoes right now is Michael Jordan. Ain't nobody buying Gary Payton's. Ain't nobody buying Stephon Marbury's. Ain't nobody buying these players' shoes because what happens when you get retired is people forget about you. Unless, like we all know with rappers and musicians and actors even, when they have a tragic past, like Jim Morrison, Elvis, Tupac, Biggie, what happens? They make more money in their death than they do when they're alive. And speaking about a bubble, if Kobe Bryant lives in such a bubble that his daughter's being helicoptered and dropped into her freaking practice, if this guy wants to disappear, it's not going to be hard. He can purchase himself a compound on 100 acres land in North Dakota, and you'll never know. Have a fenced off community. Have 5 houses. That way, if he needs 2 of them clean, the maids can come clean the 2 houses, and then he just moves back into them, and then come the next 2, the next, whatever. This is not rocket science here. This could happen. You go to and it made me think about Disney. Okay, how would he purchase you go to a lawyer, you create shell businesses, right? And this is what Disney did in Florida, so people didn't know it was them. This is how Walt Disney did. So he bought up a bunch of land and like different LLCs, saying that this is a different business, and then he was able to secretly build Disneyland over in Florida. That's how you do it. The same way you get a lawyer to do everything. So it's possible. I'm not saying it's probable. I'm not saying it happened. I'm just saying look at it. And the biggest thing is now he's memorialized every year. Everybody forgets about him doing the old raw dog in Colorado, being accused of rape. Everybody forgets about the fact that him and Shaq, he couldn't even get along with him, and Shaq had to leave the Lakers because he was such a little dickhead, right? And everybody forgets about all that spoiled little brat and that attitude. And they just think about, oh my God, he died with his daughter, so tragic in his arms. Oh. Meanwhile, his wife is getting probably $1 billion, $1.5 billion, $2 billion life insurance. She becomes the executive of everything, so she can funnel the money wherever she wants. And luckily, he took that daughter because Mama Bear gonna need to see baby cub. So he's got that for insurance case she decided to get freaky with that cheese whiz. But she's in charge of all the money, so she ain't squeaking, she ain't talking. If you just kind of open your eyes and look at it, it's kind of gangster. Now every year there's a Kobe Bryant. Nike can come up with a new shoe every year. Every day of that tragedy, they're gonna do a memorial. If it's in Los Angeles, they're gonna do a moment of silence. Now they got the numbered up his jersey up in the rafters. They're gonna have Paul Gasol. They put his number up in the rafters so they can have him come and speak. They're gonna have a moment. Then they're gonna try to sell you some gear in the store. And guess who's getting a piece of that? Everybody. Nike, the wife, she's in control of everything now. She's the executive of all the finances. Look at the pluses and minuses. And all Kobe needs to do is just live in his little compound like he's been doing his entire life. He helicoptered here, helicoptered there. He's got a fenced community, got 4 or 5 properties, still got money rolling in, living off the fruits of his labor. It's not like he was a big public guy. It's not like he really was a man of the people. No, he was a spoiled little brat who played basketball his entire life. And why not control your destiny? Immortalize yourself with a tragic death. The icing on the cake. So that's my 2 cents. With that being said, if it ever comes out and it's true, it's one thing that I am connected to is the astral light. So with that being said, if you're out there, Kobe, that's pretty gangster. Peace out.